Greetings, friends. Reform Stoic, back with another video. We're just gonna keep them rolling. Yeah, the music video dropped. It's doing great. I got high hopes for it. I can tell you what's not doing great is the World Star promo. That was not worth it at all. And people are gonna be like, "Oh, what did you expect, bro? You're whack and you're not accepted by the streets." No, nobody even saw it. Nobody even saw it, man. All those comments are bullshit. That's some weird bots to try to make it look like the website's still alive. I don't even think there's any traffic on World Star. Honestly, maybe it sounds like cope. I'm trying to cope, but nah, I probably should have did more research and paid closer attention. But you know, that kind of segues into the topic of this video. So I went to another barbecue, deja vu, just like last week. Had a drink, buzzing a little bit. I wanted to talk about the state of the music industry for all styles of music, regardless of what you're trying to do. But yeah, segueing into it, I'm getting the idea that World Star is not what it used to be, man. You know, I feel like putting your music video on World Star was probably the move in 2016, 2017. I think it's the move if you already made it. I think the move for everybody is to have already made it. The best way to get married is to already be married. The best way to make money is to already have money. The best way to blow up as an artist is to have already blown up as an artist. Somebody said in my comments on my video, like, basically implying I'd be a great ghostwriter for Drake. I mean, that's about as good as it gets, bro. There's not any room for any new rappers. But hey, we're going to get on the No Jumper podcast. Ultimately, the video's doing great. It's not all about the World Star promo, but I could not have possibly fathomed how disappointing that was going to be. Like, I thought I was going to be getting roasted by the hood. Like, yeah, I didn't really expect to get embraced by World Star Hip Hop, but I thought it would be getting views. I thought people would be seeing it. Bro, dead internet theory. There's nobody fucking there. Nobody's watching that video. Nobody's in that comment section. That's, wow. I didn't realize that World Star was dead. But, so here's some of the thoughts I had about the music industry, guys. When it comes to being a singer or a rapper versus playing in a band. Here's the thing about that. People tell you to adapt. People lecture guitar players, drummers, musicians. Like, you gotta figure out how to adapt to the modern atmosphere, to the modern technology. I mean, I've been rapping, making music since I was like 17. It all started, you know, just noodling on GarageBand. I made a beat. And I was like, all right, well, I'll be the rapper for the beat. But I was actually already kind of making songs before that, too, for, like, school projects and messing around. I tried freestyling ever since, like, 6th grade. People called me Skittles. It's just kind of something that I'd already kind of been doing. But what I was going to say is that I adapted to the modern industry by becoming a rapper instead of being a drummer. It's like, people are like, it's like, oh, you got to get the octapads on your drum set and hook it up to samples and play electronic drum kits with space noises. I mean, dude, it's pretty much over for band music. And I would go as far as to say that it's time is kind of running out for rapper music and singer music. And I'm more than happy for people to come in the comments and tell me I'm wrong and tell me I'm bitter. I'm not bitter about the video yet. We just now got it rolling. We're good. We're going to keep going with Moggy Jr. No Jumper, baby. And, you know, I might mention in the follow-up with No Jumper that I'm interested in getting on brand risk and fighting. I mean, this is the Great Depression, bro. These are hard times. And I'm down. I'm down to step in the cage. It's one thing to be like, oh, I'm so tough and I can beat everybody up. And you saw that 883 Blammy in the video. Hey, I got the behind the scenes for that. That's real. That's real. But it's one thing to brag and say you're tough and that. It's like, hey, I will fight for money. Like, these are hard times. It reminds me of the movie Cinderella Man. It reminds me of Rocky. Rocky's my favorite movie, bro. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know how tough I am, this or that, or how I stay. I don't care. I train every single day. I PB'd my 5K today, 24:22. Yeah, I think I hit pretty hard, regardless of whatever that arcade machine means. I will fight for money. So, any of y'all got connections to the brand risk? I'm trying to get out here and do things, bro. And it's like, add it to the pile, bro. Rapper, drummer, fighter, theologian, philosopher. I'm out here trying to be somebody, dude. I don't really care what anybody says about it. I don't really care when something flops like World Star, but man, that was a big flop. Holy shit, that was a big flop. I wanted to get roasted by the streets. I imagined like dudes in New York, like on their fucking iPhones, like, who's this goofy ass white dude, man, eating a burger? Like, yo, bro, this is fucking whack. There's a couple of comments like, this ain't it, bro. I was like, yeah, where's those? Where are those comments? Just comments, attention. Shit fucking flopped hard. Band music. Here's the thing about band music. I was listening to my 13-hour emo playlist in the car ride home. Bro, it was so much better for bands like the further you go back in time, bro. The last real culture of band music was emo music. And that was already happening in the 90s. It's a cool debate to have about, like the real emo versus the poser mall emo. I feel like the official real breakout was when Jimmy Eat World had a song on the Never Been Kissed soundtrack, which was a movie with Drew Barrymore in it from, I think, 1997. People know Jimmy Eat World from It Just Takes Some Time, did a little in the middle of Do-Ride. That song was a huge, massive hit, but they were around, probably like a decade before that already, and they were kind of like an emo band. But there's a band called Grade. They were not very popular, but I feel like they were one of the first bands that kind of sounded like what was about to start happening with like the Taking Back Sunday, Census Failed, the Used kind of stuff. But I really think it was Thursday's Full Collapse in 2001. That album is like the old heads like that album, and then the emo mall pop punker emo My Chemical Romance people like that album too. I love that album. That's a great album. But the thing is that was cool about the 90s bands and the emos bands is like sometimes they'd have a bass player that was like kind of good. Not like music school good. Every now and then, like Seosin's drummer was really good. He went to Berkeley or he took Berkeley online courses or something. Every now and then those bands would have a really good drummer or a really good bass player. Every now and then everybody in the band fucking sucked and like they could barely perform live, but they still had a huge following. But that was part of the beauty of it, dude, is like there's a whole band economy, It's like the crappy drummer in an average garage band that hits it big. That guy's getting laid. There's a girl marrying that guy. There's a whole economy that flows from it, and is very achievable. And one thing that I've definitely been realizing is like if you really pay attention to all these emo bands, they're a bunch of like really fucking good looking pretty boys, like every single fucking one of them. Now, not all of them were super tall. You could go a long way with like skater jeans and an Element t-shirt or like a skater hoodie and then the spike bracelets or long hair. I mean, you definitely can't be short and bald, I'll tell you that fucking much. But you can go a long way. There were some manlets playing in emo bands who like had the emo hair or the tight jeans. You can make it work. And those guys were getting bitches and they were not that great at their instruments. It's power chords, regular drum beats. Sometimes it was kind of cool. Sometimes it was a little bit hip. Me, as like, I consider myself an advanced musician. I went to Berklee College of Music. I still enjoy that music. And sometimes, like Circus Survive. I feel like Circus Survive is exactly as technical as I like a band where I can still feel it. Like, the lyrics are catchy and the singer is catchy, but the drums are like pretty technical and like the melodies and the chords is like pretty deep. But I was talking about this today at the barbecue. Emo was like the last real kind of like music scene, And what happened is there was the normies who were on trends, and they all left for rap and pop and Taylor Swift and To the Window, To the Wall, and then like Nicki Minaj and Lil Wayne, Young Money, Drake. They all sold out for that shit. And then the people that were like kind of actually in it for the music, they probably got into metal. And that's what happened to me. I totally followed the emo to death metal pipeline, you know? I got into bands like Under Oath, which gets decently heavy. I still love Under Oath. Their drummer's great. He's notorious for hitting hard. He played with Paramore for a while. So yeah, I feel like bands like Under Oath, I guess you could say Emery. Emery's more on the emo side, but they got some screams. Some of these emo bands that had like screams, some of the metalcore bands, like in the car, I was listening to From Autumn to Ashes. You saw everybody getting into rap, and then the emo thing was kind of starting to just fizzle out. There was a lot of bands still jumping on the trend, but it was starting to die. You had the mallcore bands like Black Veil Bride, The Devil Wears Prada, and that kind of stuff. And that was about the time that I saw the video of Derek Roddy in the studio recording for Hate Eternal, and I was like, holy shit, dude. The first blast beat that I ever saw was like a fast as shit blast beat, 260 BPM, Hate Eternal. And it absolutely mind flipped me, dude. I was like, what is that guy doing? How in the hell is he doing that? And I just kind of just started looking up death metal bands, and it was a very taboo thing for me. It's like, I don't like this. I just like the drumming. Do I like this? And it was like, I would just like show people. It's like, dude, you guys know about this band? They're like, dude, why are you showing me that? That's weird. It's like, yeah, it is weird. But then I just kind of kept like checking it out. And then there was this total chud in my high school because I read about death metal bands in Modern Drummer magazine. This guy said he played in Dying Fetus. I was like, holy shit, there's a band called Dying Fetus. And I brought that up to some guys I played music with. And the next day at school, the guy's like, dude, I listened to Dying Fetus. It's fucking sick. And so then I finally found somebody who made it a little bit more socially acceptable to listen to death metal. And this is all happening like at the end of my sophomore year. I had friends that were listening to power metal, and this was happening about the time everybody's getting into rap. You know, I was listening to like Stratovarius, Iced Earth. Man, the Iced Earth live album, Alive in Athens, is fucking sick. Now, I had heard of Death at that point. Their last album, Sound of Perseverance. So I was kind of like getting into the power metal was kind of where I started. But then I started hearing about some of these death metal bands like Behemoth and Nile and Dying Fetus. And I was like, ooh, that's weird, but that's insane. I'm not going to listen to that. Why do I want to listen to that again? And I just slowly started getting into it. So that's all that really needs to be said about that. But without boring you guys to death, my life story, it's like, that's what I think happened. When emo died, the people who were on the emo trend, because it was on MTV, they all got into rap. They all got into Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Drake. And then the people who were actually in it for the music probably got into metal of various kinds. Maybe you just kind of settled for the mallcore, metalcore kind of stuff, Killswitch Engage, but I went all the way into the death metal pretty quick. So then there's like, okay, so the garage band, starting the punk bands, that's still a thing, but it's not striking hot like it was in the 90s or the early 2000s. Periphery came out in like 2010. That was huge at Berkeley. I wasn't really into that. You know, I was around people who were showing me like Born of Osiris and Veil of Maya, Periphery, and I was starting to discover the more like technically complicated, rhythmic focus, kind of like gent breakdowny metal. But I was still kind of sucked into like the Nile and that kind of stuff. But I developed an appreciation for that over the years, and you know, now I'm kind of more aware of those kind of bands. Currents is a newer band that's kind of cool. Sleep Token is like crazy popular. They're very love-hate. Some people like hate Sleep Token, some people love them. I'm just kind of like, I don't really listen to it. It's on the radio sometimes. I think it's all right. Their drummer's really good. Currents is one of the newer bands that I like. I really like, really brain farting on this band's name. I mean, you know, Periphery, Tesseract is pretty cool. Architects, old Architects. It's weird. Like, when I listen to the radio, a lot of these kind of, like, genty metalcore bands, like, have hit songs that are on the radio now. Like, Architects has singles on the radio. And that's actually awesome. I mean, for this rant that I'm having, that's amazing. Like, you can play in a band like Architects and have a single on the radio. I don't listen to that shit. That shit's fucking weak, if you ask me. I listen to old Architects, which is like really cool breakdowns and technical shit. But that's not the shit that's on the radio. You know, the drummer plays like a really cool or like a really clean backbeat with like ghost notes and shit. I mean, it's really tight. They make really cool rock music on the radio. When you listen to like Sleep Token, Deftones is still coming out with singles and they're on the radio. Falling in Reverse, that's another love-hate polarizing group. I think that Ronnie Radke of Falling in Reverse is a genius. I don't really listen to Falling in Reverse, but I respect the shit out of them, and I would love to meet and talk to Ronnie Radke. I feel like I have kind of a similar mindset to him. It's like, hey, let's combine rap and metal and fucking everything, you know? Like, let's have like a pop song on the radio and then just have the craziest, heaviest gent deathcore breakdown out of nowhere and then spit some Fire Flames rap over it. I mean, I think he's a creative genius. And that's what happens. Creative geniuses tend to be very polarizing. But the point that I'm trying to get to is like, okay, the garage band is now more like the gent metalcore band. So it's no longer like just your average fucking Joe Blow from a middle-class neighborhood playing maybe shitty. Like, no, it's got to be that's the new garage band. From this, shitty and sloppy maybe, or maybe good, like Travis Barker. But now it's it's like, oh shit, not every average fucking dude can do that. And the music makes less money than ever, even if you fucking make it, and less bands make it. And the point is that, like, this is a very long-winded way of kind of getting around to the point that it's over. I mean, I'll always love punk music and like different. And then, you know, there was really technical things happening in, like, early metalcore. Like, I love Shai Hulud and Strong Arm. Those are two bands that I always talk about when I'm talking about hardcore. It's interesting how, like, hardcore came from punk, and metal used to be kind of at war with punk in the 80s. I really like hardcore. Hardcore started out as, like, Black Flag, Gorilla Biscuits, and what hardcore started out as is just really fast punk. But then they did something genius. They invented the breakdown. And then post-hardcore was I feel like I'm really good at differentiating all the clusterfuck of genres. Because the drummer, I think, is what really decides it. The original hardcore before post-hardcore was mainly this. Like the fast beat. The fast, like, D-beat, Slayer beat, whatever you want to call it. But then they came up with some breakdowns. Gorilla Biscuit has some great early breakdowns. And so when you're trying to say, well, what's post-hardcore? It's hardcore influence, but it's no longer fast. So you're talking about like early bands like Fugazi in the late 80s. And then emo, like what's the difference between post-hardcore and emo? That's where it kind of starts to get... There is like a legit difference, but dude, the emo snobs really like went off the deep end trying to deal with people being like, oh, I love emo, like My Chemical Romance and Taking Back Sunday and The Used. They're really triggered by that. I think those bands should probably be called like third wave emo or something. They try to be like, oh, that's not emo, that's pop punk, but I think it's emo, dude. I think there's a difference between Sum 41 and My Chemical Romance. But the point is that what made post-hardcore is the beat was more like a regular backbeat. Instead of the double time, you get the half time. You think about, we're going down, down, and looking around, and sugar, we're going down, swinging. Kind of slow. The kind of slow backbeats. Like, so much music came out of that. It's one of my favorite styles to play. You know? So I think that was like the post-hardcore sound. And then all the emo came out of that. You know, the real emo and the poser, mall emo. So that's the whole story of that. But yeah, getting back to my point is like, yeah, sometimes it was kind of cool. It was kind of hip. And me personally, my favorite bands in those genres, I like that better than Gent. Like, you know, Periphery has a special place in my heart. But when I'm really trying to listen to something that I really feel, it's going to be something from like these 90s post-hardcore bands or these early 2000s post-hardcore bands. You know, like stuff like Minus the Bear, Me Without You, Moaning is really cool. Further Seems Forever, man, Further Seems Forever's first album, that's probably like one of my favorite albums. I'd love to do more drum covers from that album. I did a cover of the song The Moon Is Down. Every single note, I wrote it all out and transcribed it. Love that style of drumming, love that style of music. But yeah, Periphery's more technical. Gent is more technical. Now, instead of just the like regular dudes making Midwest emo bands that sometimes they're kind of cool. You know, you got the mathy shit like American Football. I mean, sometimes it's surprisingly technical. But it became Gent, you know, music school kids playing breakdowns and trying to do fancy, bouncy shit. Most of them are rich. It's not really accessible. It's kind of a more like bourgeoisie thing. From what I've seen in my experience, chances are if you're playing really fancy, odd time, polyrhythmic Gent breakdowns, you probably come from money. You know, you don't see like a lot of guys in the hood like, hey, check this out. This is 5/7/6/3. Like, that's just not really the way shit works out. So that's a very long-winded, ranty way of saying, you know, it's like, hey, like, we're just a bunch of fucking jack-offs. Can you play drums? Yeah, sure. And that guy would get laid. And you could be in a fucking legendary band. You can't fake your way through a fucking metalcore band. I mean, not everybody loves metalcore. Some metalcore bands are very, like... And metalcore is probably the biggest genre ever. And what metalcore is hardcore meets metal. And so, again, I think it's defined by the drums. Any band that ever has, like, the bass drum, the double bass, in sync with the guitar... Like, I was listening to that song, The After Dinner Payback, by, From Autumn to Ashes. You're mine! My reason to blame! I say belong! Like, even that shit, people might think that that's, like, post-hardcore or emo stuff, but if the guitar is in sync with double bass like that, that's metalcore. Any of it. And I always kind of considered Shai Hulud and Strong Arm more like pure hardcore. You see, I don't think there's any double bass in Strong Arm. And I hear people call Strong Arm metalcore, but I actually, see, I'm kind of like an elitist, like, genre, kind of like, actually, I'm trying to tell everybody, like, no, actually, Strong Arm is actually pure hardcore. And it's not, it's like pure post hardcore, but maybe it's like the screaming that makes it metalcore. Maybe you could argue like because it's all screaming and there's no clean singing, maybe that's what makes it metalcore. But there's so many different genres in metalcore. Periphery has an album called Gent Isn't a Genre. I mean, Gent is basically like progressive metalcore. So anyway, metalcore is a huge genre. You can listen through different emo bands, and if there's any double bass and sync with the guitar, like Finch might be considered metalcore. I've heard people call Underoath metalcore. See, Underoath's drummer, I don't think he uses any double bass. and you listen to their riffs, and they sound a lot more hardcore to me. I would say that Under Oath is post-hardcore. So that's kind of like something I like to do. Is like, is it metalcore or is it post-hardcore? And I would say it really comes down to whether or not their drummer has a double bass pedal. So anyway, I know nobody gives a shit about that. It's fucking over for bands, is what it's taking me 25 minutes to rant about. It's pretty much over for bands, dude. Like, if you want to work really hard to be in a metalcore band, it's like, hey, I got an idea. Let's make a really technical breakdown. Sick, dude. Like, but problem is, there's already a band that did that 20 years ago. There's maybe already a band that did that 20 years ago. My two favorite, like, metal songs right now, one of them's more deathcore, one of them's more metalcore, is August Burns Red, Composure. That song is fucking amazing. That came out in 2007. And then Born of Osiris, Follow the Signs. That came out in 2011. And I'm pretty much saying, like, I don't really think that shit's been topped. That whole album from Born of Osiris, the Jason Richardson on guitar, I mean, whatever that album's called, The Discovery, nothing's really topping that, dude. Maybe a little bit. I still feel like Periphery is probably the best gent band. A lot of people seem to agree, like, Periphery 2 is maybe their best. I really like the Alpha and Omega. I mean, we're talking like 2015, 2016. I'm just saying, in 2026, to be like, hey, I got an idea. Let's start a metalcore band. I made a joke about that in the gent group I'm in on Facebook. Like, a man wanted to climb the mountain of wisdom, to seek wisdom from the sage, and his hometown cried when he left, and he was gone for a month. And they didn't know if he'd survive because it's dangerous climbing the mountain and there's no food and you have to fast. And he comes down skinny from the mountain a month later. And they're like, oh my gosh, you made it. And there's lots of hugs and tears when they reunite with him. It's like, what's the wisdom that you gained, brother? Please tell us. I'm going to start a metalcore band. And they're like, oh, that's it? And it's like, no, you don't get it, bro. It's going to be like Veil of Maya meets kind of like more like early Killswitch Engage. Huh. Like, that's the big revelation that you had, is you're going to start a metalcore band in 2026. There's probably a very small handful of people who are sophisticated and fancy enough to think that joke is funny, and I'm one of them. So that's all that really needs to be said about that, bro. I take off the sunglasses to see how long I've been fucking ranting. I look at the time. We're not quite to the 30-minute mark yet. I don't see much of a future. So rock and roll has pretty much become metal. Every now and then, some rock band will float to the top, but, you know, I'm pretty sure Queens of the Stone Age is still doing things. I just realized recently that the original drummer of Mars Volta, the original Mars Volta drummers in Queens of the Stone Age. That's badass. I've never been, like, crazy about Queens of the Stone Age. I like their first album, Songs for the Deaf. But, you know, Foo Fighters, dude. Like, Foo Fighters got a new drummer, Elon Rubin. He's sick. I'm actually highly inspired by Elon Rubin. I like how he plays open-handed. But, yeah, like, Foo Fighters is still doing it. Queens of the Stone Age, still doing it. Some of these boomer rock bands, still doing it. I mean, it's the economy in a nutshell, bro. And rock and roll has been done. Emo has been done. Metalcore thinks that there's still room to evolve. Like, no, dude, you don't get it. This breakdown is... Huh? How sick was that breakdown? It's like, dude, it's fucking over, man. Like, there's a million different ways you can mix up the breakdowns, and this is really snobby shit to say, by the way. I can kind of, like, because I gave everything to metal, dude. I spent 3 years playing in metal bands, and I actually thought that was going to take me somewhere. Like, people think I'm delusional for being a rapper. It's like, dude, I played in death metal bands. You have no fucking idea what delusional even means, bro. The only people that play that shit are rich kids. And, like, they already have girlfriends because they're rich and good looking. And the dream of being some regular chud from a middle class town and just starting a band, that shit's over, dude. That shit's pretty over. You have to be really good, and then nobody cares. And it doesn't make any money, even if you make it. So, what I really wanted to say in this video, so, like, why be a rapper? Why be a singer? Why be like, you know what? Fuck No Doubt, I'm Gwen Stefani. That happened a lot. I can't think of the other examples, you know. There's, like, Paramore, and then there's Hayley Williams. You notice how that happens? Like, the front woman of the band kind of, like, becomes their name. And then, like, what about the band? It's like, dude, just hire a new band from music school. Like, drummers, guitar players, bass players, they're all equally useless, dude. I remember when I was a kid, it was like, guitar's harder than drums because there's chords, and bass is harder than drums are harder, arguing, like, dude, it's all equally replaceable. So why be a solo artist? Because, so let's say you are trying to make it in a band in 2026 for some reason. The chances that you're going to find a group of people who are equally talented and they all have the same mindset, it just doesn't happen, bro. You find these bands. That's why places like Berklee College of Music, the whole point of going to a school like that is the network. And I would recommend that if you're going to go there, you need to be driven, dude. You need to have a vision. You need to know what you want to fucking do. Not just like, I'm from a small town, and I'm good enough to go to Berklee, and they put my name in the paper. They put my name in the paper in Kodiak because I went to Berklee. You want to put my name in the paper now, Kodiak, for Moggy Jr.? No, you don't. You want to fucking tar and feather and piss all over my name now. You're fodder, bro. People like me from little tiny towns like Kodiak going to Berklee College of Music thinking it's going to mean something, dude. They fucking laugh at you and take your money like, what a fucking small town idiot. Doesn't know shit about shit, dude. It's a really ugly world out there, man. And that's the best opportunity you have to meet like-minded people who have the high level of proficiency on their instruments, who have the right mindset. But I'm going to be honest with you. The people that I met and lived in the metal house with, I don't think any of us had the right mindset. I think back then we are kind of like, okay, low-key, I'm the most talented, or low-key, I'm this, or low-key, I'm that. I think we were all like, none of us were good enough. Like, none of us were good enough, dude. We didn't have the right mindset. You shouldn't smoke weed. You shouldn't drink. Yeah, everybody drinks, but everybody's not going to make it. And chances are your band is going to have a weak member in the band. Chances are, like, if you're good, chances are you're going to be the best member in your band, bro, in the real world. And that's the next part of this advice is, like, you got to live in L.A. You should be born in L.A. If you really pay attention to all the emo bands that made it, like, you know, like Rufio's from Rancho Cucamonga. Yeah, that's in California, bro. California! Maybe they're from a small town in California, but they're from California. You gotta be from, like, Connecticut or California, and then you gotta move to LA or New York City or Nashville, I guess. I feel like that's for more country, but the location is everywhere, dude. If you don't live in the right spot, you're not going to meet a lot of talented musicians, and there's this, like, low-key mindset that everybody's pretty much washed up and they're not really going anywhere, and the people in your band are going to be like, oh, well, I just do it for fun. And you might be low-key, like, trying to make some money, and they'll be like, oh, well, I just gave the tickets away. Like, you know, you have tickets to sell for the show, and somebody's like, oh, you know, I just gave the tickets away because I don't do it for the money. And you're like, well, maybe I do it for the money. Maybe I am trying to get some money for this shit. And you're going to meet people who, like, they fuck up and they don't care as much as you do. And for the most part, dude, good luck having a group of 5 people who are all on the same page. They're all good. They all have the right mindset. They're all creative enough to, like, write good music. So that's why it's like, when it's just me being a rapper, it's like, okay, I'm not on drugs. Oh, I'm the only person. Cool. Everybody in my band isn't on drugs. It's like, oh, well, I'm creative. Oh, I'm the only person. Everybody in my band is creative, and everybody in my band isn't on drugs, and everybody in my band is on the same page because I am everybody in my band, because I'm a fucking rapper. So that's the benefit of being a solo artist. Final thoughts, chuddies. What did we learn today here from Uncle Reform Stoic, who flopped really fucking hard on World Star today? Woo! But he can take a beating, boys. You saw me throw the blamey. Hey, I can take a blamey too, bro. I need to do brand risk. Aiden Ross, no jumper dude. Adam, guy who got cucked. I need to do brand risk. You know, I'm going to do research on whatever opponent. I'm not going to take somebody who's going to fucking wash me. But when it's like influencers, when it's like, you know, people who are just like streamers and shit, I think I'm ready to make some money throwing hands, bro. I'm serious about this. Like, I got to be somebody. I got to be a rapper, drummer, brand risk guy. Like, that's all that's left for me, guys. I'm going all in. I'm going all in. What is there to say about music, guys? I think that music tells a story of society. And when rap took over everything, that really said something. It's like, wow, there's no melody in rap. I mean, yeah, they have auto-tune rap, but I'm not even going to get into that. And then, yeah, you know, like the kind of emo rap that came out, I never really listened to any of that shit. Lil Xan and stuff. Yeah, it kind of became a little bit more like pop music. It was like pop-infused rap. But it tells a story. The music tells a story. Ultimately, the music has consistently become less melodic over time. Like, nu metal was right before rap blew up, and it's like, ready! Like, that's like the industrial nu metal kind of shit. And people are like, wow, how could it get any fucking less melodic than this? And then it was rap. Well, there's no melody in the music. Now, the cool thing about old school rap is it kind of just was in its own little world. And its world was big, but once it kind of started to fuse with pop in the 2000s, it took over. And it replaced band music. And in defense of rap, I don't really think there was that much left for band music to go. Periphery, gent, outside of like metal, because I think gent is more like hardcore. I like hardcore better than metal overall. But, you know, metal was like going to its natural conclusion, which is like to arc spire. It's like, okay, dude, how much faster can a blast beat be? I haven't really liked the way they sounded since Flesh God Apocalypse. That was about as fast as a blast beat could go to where I really wanted to listen to it. If you want to listen to a crazy fucking death metal band, listen to Defeated Sanity. Wow. I mean, I already knew they were crazy like 10 years ago, but they've been coming out with new albums, and wow, bro. Like, I would not listen to that shit for pleasure, but holy shit, Defeated Insanity is insane. I think they've topped Spawn of Possession. Necrophagist, Spawn of Possession, and Defeated Sanity. That's got my vote for like the most technical metal outside of gent, which I think is really kind of more like hardcore, or metalcore, which is metal and hardcore. But Periphery, the really fancy like I think that's the logical conclusion of band music. I mean, anything beyond that, like what's beyond gent? More technical than gent? Gent is just rhythmically technical, syncopated rock, metal, hardcore music. There's nothing left. There's nothing left to do, and I feel like the best gent probably came out maybe in 2015. It's been over for 10 years. Currents is pretty cool. I don't think they're doing anything new. I don't think there's literally anything they've done that hasn't already been done. But they're pretty cool, and I'm happy that they have a following. Now, there's always going to be some bands that slip through the cracks. There's always going to be this and that here and there. And then when it comes to rappers and singers, from what I can tell, dude, you got to cover yourself in face tattoos and sell your soul to the fucking devil, bro. I mean, that's my take on the kind of people that are making it, dude. And then, you know, we don't need to get in a big rant on this right now because I'm trying to stay positive and not beat myself up. But if you happen to be 6'4", 200 pounds, and look like you're a fucking thuggin' dude or a good-looking guy, that definitely helps. Because if you really pay attention, oh, wait a minute, every single person who's ever made it in music is good-looking for the last 30 years. So, but we don't want to start going down that rabbit hole right now. The most important advice I could possibly give you about trying to make it in music, guys, here at the 40-minute mark, I'm letting you go. Don't major in music. Don't go to music school. Don't go to expensive music school. If you want to play jazz, if you want to be like crazy high-level jazz in New York City, and if you want to do that, you probably should have been born in like the east upside of New York. I don't even fucking know anything about the fancy parts of New York because I'm a fucking cretin from the middle of fucking nowhere, dude. Look at me. I wasn't meant to be shit. I'm from the middle of fucking nowhere. I wasn't meant to be anybody, dude. People who are born in New York City are meant to be something. People who are born in Kodiak, Alaska are meant to die on boats, bro. That's just the reality. But do not go to music school. Do not major in music unless you want to play jazz. Be creative. Play your guitar. Play your drums. Use the internet to learn. Figure out a career. Figure out how you're going to make money and major in that. Get a degree in something which makes money, which is nothing. All the degrees are pretty much worthless now. Get a trade. I wouldn't ever want to get a trade, but I guess get a trade because that's what a lot of people tell you to do. You can go down a lot of rabbit holes where people are like, don't get a trade, bro, it's overrated, you make shit money and you kill yourself. You can actually find people telling you not to do literally everything. Don't be an engineer, it's overrated. Don't be a computer scientist, it's outsourced. It's replaced by AI. Don't do literally fucking anything anymore. That's where we're at in 2026. They're about to roll out crazy AI shit. I tend to think some sort of UBI is probably around the corner. Or they're just going to let everybody die. Because the gas prices are insane, food is insane. And everything's kind of going to shit, dude. And that reflects the music industry. I'm not saying I don't think there's good music out there. Like, I like Drake's new music. I sing along to some Taylor Swift songs. Taylor Swift is like the Starbucks of music, dude. She's like the Walmart of music. Drake is like the Walmart of rap, dude. It's like the Walmart Nickelback. Yeah, the best hope I could have is to be one of the fucking probably hundreds of ghostwriters who are working for Drake. And if you watch Rick Beato, he breaks down that like every Taylor Swift song has like 5 or 6 different writers writing it. She does not write her music, bro. I don't think a lot of people understand what the music industry is at this point, man. Like anything like natural and organic and, oh, I'm from a small town, it just doesn't happen, bro. It's over. The saying is that look up somebody on LinkedIn and their parents' names are blue. Or look up somebody on Wikipedia. Look up an artist on Wikipedia and their parents' names are blue. Because their parents' names are a link, and you click the link, and it's like, oil mogul, big business mogul, entertainment lawyer, like other celebrity who already made it. Like, they're all industry plants, bro. It's dark. It's dark, and you know, somebody like me from a little town who just tries to make it on his own, you know, I post my shit on WorldStar, and it gets 3,000 views, and a couple of people talk shit about it, and life goes on. But we're not done yet. We're going to get on No Jumper. We're going to get on No Jumper, and as far as YouTube goes, we're doing good. The comments are good. Leave comments, y'all. Like, if you want to support, Patreon, buy my book. Your little buddy wrote a book, and your little buddy's going to be writing a sequel to that book, and it's going to be really good. I'm going to have to think about when I'm actually going to start writing that, which is a little bit stressful to think about, but this gravy train's going to keep on rolling, guys. So the Ballad of Moggy Jr. has not ended yet, and that's my last piece of advice is Don't pay to put your shit on World Star because it's not fucking worth it. God bless you guys. I'll see you for the next one. Peace out.